What process does your listing agent have to ensure that the buyer that wrote an offer upon your home actually has financing secured in place? Hi, I'm Justin Bringus with the Bringus Home Team, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the process that your listing agent has to verify a buyer's pre-approval letter when submitting an offer on your home. And I first want to start with a story. It's a little bit reverse, but you'll get the point. So just recently, we had an open house, had a lot of people come through, actually over 120 groups registered for this open house. And as you can imagine, we had multiple offers on the property. One of the buyers, unfortunately, did not get the home. And in reaching back out to the agent, one of my agents was able to secure a business relationship with this particular buyer because the other agent had unfortunately dropped the ball. Nonetheless to say here is this, a buyer had an approval letter from a credit union. This approval letter said that credit was reviewed, finances were reviewed, including income and assets, and that a full application was given to this credit union to ensure that this buyer was in fact approved. We came in, met this buyer, and brought this buyer out to another property. We're able to write the offer and secure the offer. This was all done relatively quickly. Side by side, as we're doing this, we encourage this buyer to reach out to our preferred lender just to make sure that we can't offer a better financing package. And come to our surprise, after our preferred lender reviewed the buyer's package, we soon found out that this buyer was not eligible to receive financing, partly and due because her husband was a W-2 employee for 10 years and had recently started his own business. Having less than 2 years self-employed business, you're not allowed to use the income. The wife had also had her own business, which she owned for 25 years, but unfortunately wrote almost every ounce of income off on her taxes, showing only about $8,000 a year. Both of these are a non-qualifier. Number one, we got the husband less than 2 years self-employment, can't offer him a loan, or can't use his financing, I should say. And the wife writing so much off, there wasn't enough income to support a monthly mortgage payment. So we then thought about, let's see if we can get a bank statement loan. And unfortunately, that didn't work out either. Now, sellers, I just want to put you in perspective here for a moment and imagine if this was your home for sale, and maybe this was one offer, maybe you had several offers, and this was the buyer that you were choosing based upon the pre-approval letter that was given by a very well-known credit union, only to find out later that it was not worth its weight in paper. What process does your listing agent have? Is your listing agent looking at the offers that come in and actually speaking to the lender that gave the pre-approval? Are they encouraging that buyer perhaps reach out to their preferred lender to do a cross pre-qual, to get a second opinion, just to make sure that this buyer actually has secured financing? If we hadn't done our homework, this buyer may have very well gone into escrow on this property, and based upon the pre-approval letter that we had, without any further investigation, it made sense. It said that they were fully approved, that income was reviewed, assets were reviewed, credit was run. This allegedly to this credit union's letter was a ready-to-go loan, only to find out that this particular buyer had gone online to this credit union's website and done like an instant application. So the buyer had put their own income into this online portal to get that automatic pre-approval. No living person, no underwriter had verified anything, although the pre-approval letter stated the opposite, that everything had been reviewed. And thankfully, we caught this early enough in the process to where we unfortunately had to end that escrow. But at the same time, didn't get these sellers, which weren't even our sellers in this scenario. We were representing the buyer in this scenario. But we saved the sellers of going down a road of being in escrow for 2 to 3 weeks and only finding out in week 2 or week 3 that the buyer would not qualify for a loan because of the scenario that I just spoke about. So sellers, I want to ask you, what process does your listing agent have to make sure that when they are receiving offers, they are trusting but verifying? Inspect what you expect and actually making sure that you're talking to the lender that issued the pre-approval. Make sure that you're encouraging that buyer, or even making it part of the process to have that buyer cross-qualify with your preferred lender, to make sure that you're not getting locked up in an escrow that week 2 or week 3 down the road is just going to fall out for something so simple that could have been caught so early in the process if your agent is following a process to make sure that those pre-approvals are what they say. I'm Justin Bringus with the Bringus Home Team. I thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.